One.
You asked for it, you get it. Ryu and I will rip your photos into smithereens. Hold on to your headphones. Here comes the pain.
It's that time of the month where the woman in the household is yelling at the cat. No, it is time for training round. And I just told Matt that I actually had a bit of a beer before I started this. I'm feeling very good. Not drunk because like only 0.5% this is basically just like water.
Yeah, tell them what kind of beer you had.
It was shandy, so it's lemon. It's basically it's like lemon juice, it's like not really beer. It's like 0.5% alcohol. So but I think since I've been like bedridden and not doing anything that much, I think any drop of alcohol really just gonna get me very very high, which is it's a good thing. He's like I'm a cheap date. Anyway, let's start off with this wonderful training ground. By the way, if you just came here by mistake, this is part of Big Lens Fast Shutter, where Matt Cohen and I will make you a better sports photographer. This has been going on for almost 7 years.
Yep.
And it's been highly successful. It's probably the only, I don't know, only sports photography show on the planet. Right?
Yeah, unless you count Scott Kelby.
Oh, but he can't. I mean, he's probably why this his. I can't. I don't know. We can never get to that level. It's impossible. Really, like I don't think we'll ever get to that level. So just basically, like we're like a knockoff Scott Kelby type of thing.
Yeah. I don't think
We're
Scott
cheap
Kelby
Scott
drinks
Kelby.
shandy though.
Oh yeah, but he's more disciplined than I am. I wish you can like just watch me just keep on drinking and doing this thing, which I think I probably should from now on. It's actually quite fun. It actually make it a bit better for me to kind of deal with all the horrible photography that I have. We'll have to like have a look at for the next couple of hours. Hopefully not that long, but let's start. So the first one is by Toyin Oshodi, and this is Eden Hazard, who plays for Chelsea. I'm okay. I don't really mind.
Well,
It's not very exciting.
no, here's the thing. When you do a simple picture, this is a simple picture, There's not a whole lot going on and you're not moving around, you're not using light. So the bar gets raised, because the degree of difficulty is not very high. So what I want to see in a picture like this, like I'm not throwing this picture away if I make it, but it's also not going in my portfolio. What do you want to see in this? I want to see his body in like the perfect position. Like I want to see him stretched out, or I want to see him at a crazy angle, or have his head swung around or something like that. Like having the guy in the background running is cool, but
I don't want that, man.
I don't. No, I definitely don't mind the guy running in the background. What I'm concerned about is how his right leg is behind his left leg like that. It turns a picture that, because it's so basic, right? It has to be better executed than this. And it's not like he made a choice to, like, this wasn't a problem in the shooting. This was a problem in the editing afterwards, because you see this, it's like, it's just a little bit off. Like his leg is just in the wrong position for something that's already not all that interesting. So when the interest level of the picture goes down, the execution of it has to be much, much higher. And that's why I wouldn't throw it away, but I also, it wouldn't be something that I would feel like showing a whole bunch of people.
It is a matter of if you have a shot like this, because I know exactly where he's sitting on the stadium. And if you take a series of this exact same, but basically you're shooting from behind him, and you're going to take several frames, and you'll get to a point that you think, that looks good, but there's something a bit weird about it. And I think that's what Matt is saying, that you have to like look at it and say, okay, something doesn't click. And the human body, it really works in a way that there's basically like positions and like the where the legs or the arm or the head or everything is. It really just throws the picture just completely just out to like this crazy place, and that no amount of editing can really save it. It's just the way it works, the way that basically the human body is. And I think to me, like it doesn't bother me that much, but obviously like, when I just like look at a picture for a long time, it then starts really bothering me. Like for instance, like I don't like the left hand of him. It doesn't really like make that much sense to me. Um, like Matt says as well, like the whole left leg behind and the right leg, it just doesn't look very, very beautiful. And if you are, shooting any sort of sports that there's a lot of limbs, going every place, you will have to like choose the one that looks the most beautiful, and this one unfortunately isn't. If you want to like do something very basic, like Matt said, like very simple type of thing, I really would try to make sure that there's nothing behind him, nothing really distracting at all, which includes for me the guy actually like running in the back. So the guy, this teammate, as well as the opposition. So kind of better luck next time. Next one is by Toyin again. My daughter is half naked and prancing around, but she's 2 years old, so she's allowed to do that. And it's bad. I don't understand what he wanted to do.
This is like a flat no on this one. But it's good because it gives us a chance to kind of go over a few things that I think there are some basic rules. And again, you can break them, but it has to be a good reason. It has to be a really good execution of it. When the focus is on the thing in the back and you have things in front of it, you're starting in a hole. And the payoff of it and the arrangement of all these things has to really, really bring you out of the hole for it to work. So having the out of focus stuff, the guys in the foreground, the other photographers, and the ball boy or whatever, be out of focus in the middle, in the foreground is just a killer. This is absolute killer. The other bit of it is that you're too far away for really anything. The way the flag is cutting off the players' heads on the side, like, so how you come into this picture, like how I came into this picture was the out of focus part. The first thing I saw, the guy in the blue, the guy in the yellow, out of focus in the middle, and then my eye follows the flag that's also out of focus. So everything that I saw in the first split second that I saw this picture was out of focus. And then you say, okay, well, maybe I'm not looking at this picture right, and you refocus your eyes, and what do you see? Well, the players are, smushed down into the corner, and their heads are cut off, and their legs are cut off. And then on the right hand side in the bottom, more things that are out of focus. And then the only thing that are really in focus that you can see are the crowd. And you've already done a whole lot of work to get to just a crowd from too far away. So there's no depth to the crowd because they're just a wall of people in the back. They're not even all cheering. Like some of them are, look like they're pretty bored. One guy's looking at his phone. The guys who are, really into it are also, mostly blocked out by the people that are out of focus. So this is a mess. This is like a reaction. Like, you should absolutely take this picture because you can't run over there. You can't decide where the goal celebrations are going to happen, but you need to recognize that this picture doesn't work. Like, there's just nothing here. And really, I can't think of anything that would have happened that would have made this picture work from here, because you're shooting through a bunch of photographers. The flag's always going to be there. And the fans, it's not enough. Like, again, we've talked about this a little bit, if they were all wearing the team jersey and they all had their faces painted or something like that, then, come back to us and we can talk about it maybe, but they're just too far away. You don't have a good angle on them, and the other stuff is distracting from what little there is there. So this is just an absolute throwaway.
The thing is, like, when these things happen, there are several stadiums you're not allowed to get up and go. to whatever, like during the match, whatever. Like there's a lot of different rules per stadium, but this one, for absolutely sure, you can get up and go. And for where, because I've been here several times, I know what's going on. From where Toyin is sitting, you can actually go and run and get to where the guy on the right is. He basically was either sitting there, but the fact that he's standing, that means he got up and ran there to shoot, much closer. And when you're shooting celebrations in football or any sports that's basically on the field, so American football, rugby, usually you can move. And once the celebration, like once the guy scores the goal, and there's going to be a celebration in a location where you can actually get up and go, then go. Like just drop whatever you have, get up on your feet and start running. Because if you're able to do that, you're going to get much closer. Unless you're actually going for a specific shot, the angle that you actually have is absolutely fine. You're using, where you're sitting as an advantage is absolutely fine. But in most cases, the closer you are to the celebration, the better, the pictures you're going to be able to actually get. And you should have actually done that. So just an advice, I should actually do that for like the fucking Patreon thing. It's that if you can actually get close to the celebration, just get close to the celebration. You have 2 legs, unlike me, so you can actually go get there and actually do them. Simon is weirder.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he's really, really good, and sometimes he's really shit. And this is really just shit. Like really high level. Like I think it's in a way like it's worse than the Toyin's second picture.
Yeah.
Terrible.
This is
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is puzzling to me. I would have I don't or I guess we're chalking this up to shooting something that he doesn't shoot very often, and I guess you need to kind of shoot through the ignorance of it. Man. So okay. First of all, these pictures need to look, absent anything crazy going on, the picture needs to look pretty, right? It needs to look, it needs to be aesthetically pleasing. And so when you look at this, I don't want to look at this guy, the trainer or the owner, whoever. I don't want to see this guy, right? His 3/4 behind and his bald spot and his his fluffed out hair or whatever. Like I never want to have to see this guy unless he's doing something super interesting. And so the background, it's a guy in a t-shirt on a horse. That's not ordinarily how they look. So there might be something there. Like, this guy who's usually really super dressed up is just wearing a t-shirt and maybe it's dirty or something like that. That's fine, but you can't see any of that. So it looks bad. And then there's the fluorescent light, or I don't know if it's a cutout to the outside or a fluorescent light right in the middle of the picture. So your eyes going, it's 100% white. Your eyes going right there. Beyond that, so yes, it's dark and we all have to shoot in dark, but converting it to black and white doesn't help. I don't know what it's supposed to be helping here. And then you have the grain that's, covering most of the picture. So this is just bad. It's just really bad. And I don't really understand. The point. So when there are things to do, like we talk about when you have like really good low light or something, and you can do backlit pictures or you can use the really golden light, that's fine. But then you have situations where you're in a barn, and believe me, I know all about these. You have to be going for different pictures. You have to accentuate the fact that it's dark. Don't try to make the picture light. You're never gonna. That's where the grain comes from. Make the picture dark. Make it look like it looks in there. And what this looks like is you were trying to use the daylight, but you were trying to not use very much of it and then bring it up in post or shoot at really high ISO, I guess is what happened here. You have to, when you're in a dark place, and these aren't like, if you're shooting action and it's dark, you kind of need to make the best of it. Like you're trying to get 500th or 800th of a second or something, and it's dark and there's action or whatever, and you're just screwed. Whatever you do, that's fine, because you can't make a whole bunch of really blurry pictures. Like you can do some panning, but the rest of it, you need to try to stop the action as much as you can. When you're in a barn and it's behind the scenes and there's no action going on, try to figure out how to accentuate the darkness. Try to figure out to show the setting of it, because all we're seeing here is like some metal walls. Like there's not even like a sense of place. Like this could be in a parking garage or something like that. So I'm not sure what you were trying to communicate other than, oh, there's a horse and there's a guy looking at the horse or something. Like it's just a mess. And it's just, you need to know where you are and you need to figure out how to take advantage of those situations. Like there are just times where I'm at a rodeo where there's a day performance and a night performance, and the night performance, it's too dark. The arena's too big. It's too dark. I know I'm not going to be able to strobe it. I know that if I try to shoot action, it's going to look terrible. So what am I going to do? I'm going to look for places where I can shoot at a slower shutter speed and still get good pictures. And that means behind the scenes. So you're already behind the scenes. You could be shooting as slow as you want. You don't need to be shooting at 500 or 800 or 1,000 or something like that behind the scenes, because this guy's not going to open up this horse in the barn, right? Wherever he is he's not moving at all here. So you didn't need to be at 25,000 ISO or whatever for any reason whatsoever here. So figure out how to make slower shutter pictures because you're inside and they're not moving all that much, and you can take advantage of the light that is in there. But this is just, I don't know why this made it out of the camera, honestly.
Yeah, it sucks. It's terrible. It's usually like it's a lot easier to actually like say like when something's actually is good or decent, we can just kind of skip over. But when it's really something like really is bad, like that bad,
yeah,
I just say, yeah, like I don't know what the fuck you're thinking. Since it's this one's by Anatoly Cherkasov, and I've actually just recently saw a colleague of mine. He did a very cool volleyball shot where he was taking it almost directly underneath the player, and he got the player jumping, and the arm that the guy was actually spiking the ball was cocked, and just everything just from directly underneath it looked beautiful. And I think when you have a shot of sports it's basically striking a ball, so it'd be football or volleyball, or let's say even golf, it usually, by all means, it looks the best when they're cocking their leg or their arm. So not right after they hit or not on impact, but on basically the backswing. It's just like, I just go back to the first picture we're talking about. It just looks more beautiful that way. And so I always think why there's so many pictures of basically even like tennis, for instance. I don't think like the impact shot, like I don't maybe follow through like at the end is fine, or backswing is okay, but anything in between, it looks a bit awkward. And it just kind of feels that way. Poke ne, poke. And this is exactly the thing as well. Like it doesn't look very, very good. And you should notice that. And it doesn't look good. And you can see it immediately, like it doesn't look good. I think, for instance, the ceiling looks beautiful. I think it should have been used.
How lucky
great
to shoot on something like that.
And you should have used it to your advantage, but that didn't happen. The way you actually shot the guy is not really that interesting. I mean, like, if you had a chance to, for instance, like get underneath him to actually shoot directly underneath, like something to make it more interesting, but this is the least interesting possible. And like I said, after impact, in this case, it doesn't look very, very beautiful. And you don't need the ball. Like, it's so unnecessary to have that ball. You gotta have to think of a way, like how can I actually make this into a volleyball picture without the ball being present and making it look beautiful. And a lot of people think that, well, I've been taught that if it's a sports picture, that equipment or that ball has to be in, because I was working for an agency that requires me to actually take very standard, like just run the mill picture, because that's what they wanted. They wanted from head to toe everything. but it's I don't do that anymore. Like I still do, but I feel like it's absolutely unnecessary to like have a ball in a football picture or have a ball in a basketball picture. Like why does it have to be there in order for me to actually tell a story of that particular player or whatever, you know? So yeah, it's unfortunate. I think volleyball, like really, like my colleague really just kind of opened up my eye to it. It's like, oh, this is really, really, really cool. If you can shoot it that way all the time, like from a very cool angle. And especially like, I mean, the guy's photo didn't have a ceiling like this. And it's a lovely ceiling. It really is a beautiful, beautiful ceiling. And it's really a shame that I'm sure you can go back and do it again, you know?
Yeah. Here's what I would say about this. The you need to figure out how to use the ceiling and the skylights or regular lights or whatever they are. It needs to be
Integrated?
yeah, like this is another thing that we talk about a lot where use the figure out what's going to make the best picture and then sit on it. Like you don't need to go and shoot this whole game every play. You don't need to be hunched down here. But if you are, try to figure out where you can, like, this shot right here is always going to be problematic because even though this is the closest that you can get to the net has those the supports going, the support ropes going to the wall, and it has those black the black parts for the out of bounds or whatever on the net. That's the least aesthetically pleasing part of the picture. But yeah, you can't be out on the court and just shooting the net and the ceiling and the players or something. So you need to figure out something different, but you could really be anywhere on the court shooting up. So I would be looking at the space in between those ropes that are going to the wall because there's room there. So, volleyball is dynamic and it's not going to happen on every play, but I would sit on that to get somebody doing something athletic in the gap in between those two supports. That way you have the athlete doing something athletic, plus you have the background of the ceiling, and you have a pretty cool angle at it. So that's what I would do. Play to the strengths. Like you can make this shot where you're shooting, because at this point it doesn't matter what the ceiling looks like because you've already ruined the picture with the black tape and the ropes. So, the ceiling, you could make this shot even in a place where the ceiling wasn't all that good looking. It's still going to be basically the same picture. Figure out a way where you can get the ceiling, the player, plus or minus the ball, it doesn't matter, at a cool angle. Make that picture. That's what I would do. And this is like just, like a little bit of advice, and you can do whatever you want. If it's up to me, I'm not putting my watermark on the most interesting part of the picture. You're asking people to look at your pictures. I understand people steal pictures. I understand you want credit for it, all of that. That's all fine. I've never argued with somebody about that. But you're putting this up on Flickr. You want people to see it. You put it here. You want us to critique it. Don't make me fight around your watermark to see what the picture is about. It's super distracting right here, and there's just no need for doing that. If you're that worried about your pictures getting stolen, don't put them online.
I was just watching my daughter playing with a card. Okay, all right, take her. Okay. It's another one by Anatoly Cherkasov, and it's fine. Can we just say it's fine?
I don't know.
It's like it's all right.
It's all right. It's if we're gonna give it the full treatment or whatever, it's pretty unbalanced. Like there's not really any need for that space on the right edge of the frame.
No.
I would say, like, you wanted to crop it, but you didn't want to get rid of the team. Is it the sponsor? It's probably the sponsor, right?
Mm.
in the middle. You didn't want to crop that off, but I would say that this would be a better picture if it was cropped off to the tops of their heads, the one guy's shoulder, and the bottom of the hand on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Like it just, it's too loose anyway, and having all that extra space, and I don't, unless you're shooting for that sponsor, it's not really that important.
It's
The face,
unnecessary to like have that much space. The thing is, like, if you're gonna make it very extreme, it's fine. You should then like make it. You should go all out, and like not go half-ass on this one. So to me, it's a bit half-ass. Like if I'd actually done this, I would have shot a bit wider, and I would actually made sure that the subject will be far right or far left, not like in kind of in the middle, and just leaving that stupid gap on the right hand side. So it doesn't really work. I read about Jim on this one that it is first time using a remote camera. As far as I know. I like the seating as well with the beam stuff. But the thing is, like, from I've never shot rodeo, but I'm always just kind of like, imagining how things are done. We've already talked about like the fact that maybe did I say in the podcast like whether or not you can actually put the remote on that pylon thing. You can't.
you can't do it
no. Because it breaks and you kill horses and the owner gets angry and you're probably going to get killed by a bunch of cowboys and it's not a very good thing. So I'm assuming it's not close enough to me to be able to actually like use remote. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna use remote and if you use a wide angle lens, then it should be a lot closer, but it's not possible to do it that way. So just thinking how you could kind of like use this as an advantage, the fact that you can actually put the camera on the whatever the field or the place where they do their thing. I don't know, to try a different lens. It's definitely not going to work out with this. Like it's so, it's not very interesting because it's not close enough and it's not far enough. And it's that for me, it's a very inconvenient distance where it's neither long or it's neither long or wide, and it doesn't really do me anything. So either the fact that if you can actually get closer, that's great, and use a wide angle lens or use a different lens, or this place where you put the remote camera and the remote camera and the remote, it's just not good enough. You have to find different way to shoot it.
Yeah. Okay. Remote photography for barrel racing. So the only reason to do it, because you can't put remote photography to me is putting the camera somewhere that you can't be during whatever is happening. And you can be here, right? The camera isn't like, hidden or whatever. It's just right up against the fence where you could be sitting anyway. And the only reason to do it is so that you can be shooting two of the barrels and be getting twice as many pictures as you would to, with the intent of selling them. And, so the more pictures per ride, the higher the chance that somebody's going to buy them or buy multiples of them. And, whatever, I'm not going to knock the hustle. I don't do this because, I want the control of it. And I don't know. I don't need to have, I shoot the people that I shoot enough that I don't need to have multiple pictures of the same run. I certainly wouldn't do it, inside under bad lighting like this, because I don't want more pictures in bad lighting. I don't like, this isn't bad. Like I don't mind this picture. It's not great. The problem is, and this is something that Jim runs into a lot. He's shooting indoors a lot. Lighting in indoor rodeo arenas is not at a premium. So you end up with just really dull, shitty colors. That's what I'm way more concerned about here, is that this isn't what the picture should end up looking like. You don't want to have a whole bunch of pictures at the end of the year that look like this. You need to light. When you're shooting like this, you need to light these pictures, and that sucks, but that is life. You're never going to be able to get a picture that it's going to look right shooting inside in natural light like this. It's just you have, you know, mixed lighting. There's like daylights, and then there's fluorescent lights, and then you have the dirt, and it's just all going to look bad. So you need to light it, and luckily it's not that, you know, it's not that expensive. Like, you don't need arena strobes to light barrel racing because they come pretty close to the fence. So you just, you know, either clamp them to the fence if you're allowed, or put up some light stands or something like that, and get rid of the ambient lighting and just light it with the flash, and the pictures will look so much better. This is fine if you're experimenting or whatever. If you're learning how to use your gear, that is all fine, and this is exactly the place that you should be doing that in. But the goal of this all is to have better pictures. We're not here to teach you how to use your gear or any of that. We're here to teach you how to make pictures that look better. And a remote isn't going to get you pictures in this situation that look better, because you could do this by laying on the ground next to the fence. I've done it. I do it all the time. The remote is just getting you more pictures, and shooting in this without light is getting you more pictures that look drab and dull like this. So I would say, you know, you can continue doing this if you want. I don't mind this. I like the dirt kicking up. I like the horse stretched out like that. That's all fine. But at the end of it, you're going to look back at this and say, this picture looks shitty because of the light, and you can't fight that in camera. You need to light it. And as far as the remote goes, you know, I don't know, if you want to get twice as many pictures, that's all fine. If you want to shoot with 2 different lenses per run, that's fine. But I just don't see it as being necessary, and I would rather be composing than doing this.
This is by Jay Tannehill. So it's assuming it's John or James or Jumba Tannehill. So I'm going to call him Jumba Tannehill because, you know, I don't really know what J actually stands for. Jumba. It's fine. It's like the thing is, like, by the way, when I say it's fine, I've actually said, like, in different things, different outlets, like with interviews and things like that, it's fine to me is the worst thing that I could ever hear from anyone about my own work. It's either people love it or people hate it. So it's the worst thing that I can have anyone tell me about my work is it's fine. And I try not to do it's fine photos, because that means I've basically failed to get any sort of reaction from that person. Like, just there's no reaction, just indifference. And so in a way, really bad is actually in my situation, like, really bad is better than it's fine. And this is it's fine photo, which is probably the worst kind of photo ever.
I think this is bad.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, it's fine. Like, he's, you know, throwing a pitch, the guy's gonna swing it, whatever. Like, I've seen this, you know. So, you know what I mean?
This is not
I mean,
fun.
you could say that, like, his f-stop is way far high, that you can see Barrett, you know, getting in the background, like, it's which is crazy. Like, I don't know what
this is not fine.
Is it in the evening? He's got a signature as well, Jumba Tannehill, you know.
No, this is not fine. This is definitely, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why? It's fun. Like, he's got the guy, he's pitching.
No. All right.
People love that ball in the air thing.
No.
And you can see Barrett's, you know, whatever they're fucking selling Barrett. And there's, is that Phoenix?
Right. Yeah. First of all, yes, the f-stop is way too high. There's absolutely no reason why we should be able to read those billboards. Barrett. So that's really bad. The other part of it is that the ball in the air, you know, that's okay, but that's not the point. The point is, nobody in this picture is doing anything that looks anything athletic at all. The pitcher, it's too far after his throw, and you want him, like, hunched over, like he's just throwing the ball. Like, that's what this picture would be about. Having the is that the right fielder? You don't want to have the right fielder right over his shoulder like that, or is it the center? I can't even tell. Whatever, the outfielder. I don't want the outfielder right behind the pitcher. If he is right behind him, I want him right behind him so that you can't even see him because he's blocking him. And then it's just, what is this picture about? You can't see he's not swinging yet, so you can't see the bat. So we're looking at the batter, the umpire, and the catcher are out of focus, and the pitcher's not doing anything athletic, and the outfielder is, blending into the pitcher. Like, you're shooting behind a net, you can move around. If you had moved to, if this picture is about the pitcher,
right.
then you
Or
move.
even to
No,
the
you
left.
you move to the left. You get the signs out of it, and you put the outfielder right behind the pitcher. Then we're talking, but you still need to catch the pitcher in some kind of athletic position, whether he's winding up or whether he's following through. But this is just, his leg. He's doing a dance or something like that. Like, he doesn't look like he's even pitching. So yeah, this is not fine. There's nothing fine about this. You need to make choices. And so, yes, you're shooting from behind this. So it's not like a little league game where there's nothing behind it or whatever, and you have to stay out of the way or something. You could be wherever behind there. So pick your spot where your background is better than this. Pick your spot where something more athletic is going to be happening, and then get rid of the things that don't matter, like the outfielder. This is not fine.
Yeah. I've seen worse. I've seen worse baseball pictures. I don't really care for it. Which means, like, you gotta try something a bit more different. Jumbo Taneo. Like, you really have to. Like, it's like, I've seen these things so many. Like, everyone's seen, like, there's a guy pitching, like, it's kind of like that 3/4 angle thing, and you can see, like, the batter a little bit in the foreground. It's a bit blurry because you're concentrated, like, your focus is on the pitcher. Like, like, I mean, show something else. And that's what we've said this before, that if you try something new, something you've not tried before, different angle, different just composition, different everything, different light, and if you fail, and if you show us that and say, hey, I tried something new, I failed, have a look, we're going to be much more interested in it, because we think that, yeah, you're trying something new, you're trying something different, you're trying to find something that you're not used to doing, and you're asking for advice, which I think is what training ground should be, is that if you basically send us, like, things that you think it's good, we're not really that interested in that. We're kind of feeling that, like, we want you to basically step out of your comfort zone, let's try different things, unless you're just started out doing this. But if you've been doing this for years, well, let's say after a year, yeah, I mean, we would like for you to actually try something different. Like, just don't keep on taking the same shit over and over and over and over. You're not going to learn anything unless you tell yourself, like, let's say, okay, I'm going to try something new today, and I'm going to fucking send those idiots at Big Lens Fast Shutter this, and then they're going to tell me, like, what I did right, or what I did wrong. And I'd see more of that in the future, because it's like, it's bullshit. I don't like the hind leg of this one. And the shutter speed is too weak.
Yeah. So again, we have the problem of this needs to be lit. Like, you can't shoot. This is the same as Jim's earlier. Like, these arenas are dark. You can make the best picture there is, and it's still going to look dingy like this, because you're never going to be able to get the color balance right, because of the dirt in the air, the dirt on the ground, and the mixed lighting that there is. It's just a losing battle. Beyond that, yes, I'm not like, there are different ways to have the horse. Like, you can have the horse completely stretched out. You can have the horse, with all 4 feet off the ground, which some people think is like the holy grail or something like that, which is ridiculous. But this isn't good. Like, the front feet are fine, but the back feet look like the horse is standing still, more or less. So that's not good. It's also, that's more of an editing thing than a shooting thing, because it's, almost completely random. But the shutter speed this is not for panning. This is too fast for panning and too slow for freezing the action. And you can look at this picture and say, I'm sure you did, like, oh yeah, I stuck it. Like, the rider, I was totally matched the speed. I nailed it. Well, yes, but I don't want to be able to see the letters on the signs. Like you need to, if you're gonna pan, I want to see like a tenth of a second, you know, a 15th maybe, but slower than that. Like I pan it 1 second sometimes. I pan it a fifth of a second a lot. Slower. Like panning is panning. It's not, you know, oh, I'm trying to show the motion comes. The reason you're panning is you're trying to blur out a bad background for the most part, and you haven't done it. Like you can see everything that's going on back there. I don't want to be able to see the lettering on the signs. I don't want to be able to see where one sign begins and the other one ends. um
Can I say something real
yeah.
quick? If you want to like shoot at this speed, like if you know just unsure of it, then make sure like there's nothing behind that's gonna be distracting, or you're doing it really close up so you can only see, you know, the rider and the horse or whatever, like part of the horse's body you wanna, you know, shoot. Because then if you're really just like I was just thinking about it just now, like what if like he's this crazy guy, he just cannot shoot lower than this speed, then Jumbo Tannehill really needs to then like get up close. Then it'll be a lot easier for him to, you know, kind of like not have anything in background that's gonna be in focus. But like Matt said, you know, slower shutter speed.
His name is Brian. Who I
What's this
know
Jay
is,
Tannehill?
yeah,
Jumbo.
no, he stop calling him that. His name's Brian. I know this guy.
Well, it's too late now. His name is now is Jumbo Tannehill, and that'll
all
be
right.
it.
Well,
You
he'll
know?
be interested to know that. But anyway, yeah, no,
Jumbo.
he can do better than this. Don't pan at this. I'm guessing this is like a 30th of a second or something like that.
Yeah, it's too fucking
This
fast.
is too fast. A 30th of a second is too fast for panning anything except for like fighter jets or something. Like even race cars or whatever. Like the 30th
It's
of a
too
second
fast.
is still no man's land. So 15th, you know, cap it at that. If you really can't do it, practice more. You know, you can practice at a higher speed or whatever, and then when you get comfortable, like after you've been there for 15 or 20 minutes, then drop it. You know, see if match your speed or whatever of the panning, and then as you get better at it, like as you get warmed up or as your brain adjusts to the speed of what's going on, then drop the shutter. That's fine too, but you're not going to get a finished picture at a 30th or 60th or something like that. It's not enough in the background is going to be blurred out. And you know, even here, like there should be a difference between the rider and the horse. Like I know that they're both going at, you know, generally the same speed, but the rider is going up and down and, you know, is moving subtly differently, and you know, they catch up on every step or whatever. But I have pictures where the rider is completely fine, but the horse is completely blurred out. And that's, you know, shoot for that and then back off if you have to. But this is just way too fast.
Yeah. Jumbo. Christ, why are we getting like these fucking shitty rodeo pictures now? What's up with this? What the fuck is this? Like, does he want to like show the dirt? Bailey Griffiths. Thank God it's like B Griffiths. I would actually came up with a better name for than Bailey Griffiths. But what? Why? Like, what's going on?
I know this lady too.
I don't care. I don't know her.
We saw this at. She put this into the competition
one.
for the details.
Do that one.
And again, it's, you know, it's the same thing. We'll go over it again for everybody. It's too far away to be a detail picture, because the only detail that is worth matters is the horse's feet and the dirt flying up. And in that respect, you know, if that's all this picture had been, if you had had a much longer lens or been able to get much closer, that would have been fine. But it's too far away from that. So
can I ask you a question? Like,
yeah,
all the people who are shooting rodeo, right? Or like, I guess like just kind of like any well, let's make it a rodeo. So do you have access to like all the rodeo guys like preparing and things like that before they get on, like before they get on the horse and do stuff? Why don't they shoot any of those things? Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, you have all this access, and they're so geared up on like fucking taking shitty pictures of the fucking horse like this, or Jumba Jumba did. Like, I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I mean, it's not like I think in a sport, particularly like rodeo, where I think preparation actually does a lot of visual thing that's actually interesting, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know,
You can see
I
the
don't
riders a lot closer, and like you see the horses a lot closer. Like, I mean, it's
right.
fucking.
Well, I
Like,
mean, right, but this is another running theme is that you have better access when people are getting ready, and
yeah,
nowhere is there better access to people getting ready than rodeo because, you know, you don't even have to have a credential to, you know, you just walk up. Like the
you bump
stables
into them,
are
right? Basically,
right there, the warm-up
yeah.
pens, their trailers, you can just walk through any of
Fucking
that
hell,
kind of stuff.
man! Like,
So, but that's a completely different story.
but like,
Um,
I'm just saying, like, if you want to do like any detail stuff, like that's what I would do, right? If
right.
you want to do like
If you don't, well, yeah, if you don't have
super long
lenses that
lens,
are long enough, yeah,
yeah,
or you
yeah.
can't get close enough. So anyway, this is probably another shot that's like through the fence. And this, like, this is a worth, like, the feed of the horse stopping and everything and having this in detail. This is a worthwhile picture to have. Like, you should have it. You should be able to do this. But the problem is that with this lens, it's too far away, and then you've introduced things that don't matter, like the steer in the background and the rider's leg, and like you don't need any of that kind of stuff. This picture is all happening below the horse's stomach. But the problem is you can't get close enough because of safety, and you don't have a long enough lens, probably because it's too expensive, and that's all fine. But you have to figure out a way to do detail pictures, and then you still have to figure out how to do action pictures. So you're, you know, shooting like this, your lens is long enough, but the problem is you just cut it off at a weird part. And so this is another thing, and this applies to everything, but I know about it, you know, because I shoot rodeo all the time. Horses, like, this is a big deal. Like, having a horse stop like this, like, you really have to train the horse to do that. They don't just do this naturally. So it takes a lot of work to get it to a point where when you pull on the reins, the horse skids to a stop like this. And this is like important in um, calf roping and team
Yeah, but this is
roping
like, what
and
does it
breakaway
relate to
roping.
the actual photography thing? Like, I
Well,
don't really
I'm getting,
understand.
all right,
Come
stop.
on. Make it,
I'm
make
getting
it
there.
point.
The point of it is that if you're in rodeo, if you're in, you know, we have these other ones where it's like the steeplechase or whatever, and everybody wants to get the splash or, you know, whatever, but they forget that they can use the water in other ways. Like, when you're too in it, you forget that something that is impressive in that, oh, wow, you trained your horse to do this, doesn't necessarily make for a great picture. And so what you end up with is, like, reining is one of these things where it's all about how the horse stops, and you see like a billion pictures from the front of the horse stopping and the dirt flying all over the place, and every single one of them looks like every single other one of them. This is interesting because it's from the side, and you have, you know, it's way closer, and you could have made a detail shot of this. That's definitely the positive of it, but you need to figure out a way to get closer. And you could even do this, it doesn't even have to be during a rodeo, it doesn't have to be even during practice. You could just get your friend, like, say, okay, I'm going to lay down here in the dirt, and I want you to come like 4 feet away from me and have the horse pull up to a stop. And you could even shoot that with a wide angle lens, and it would look awesome. But you can't shoot a detail shot like you would shoot anything else and then just crop it down, or, you know, be like a middle distance away and, you know, only get the leg of the rider or whatever. Like, it's just, there's not enough happening in the rest of the picture to make up for the fact that the picture really is happening on the ground.
Yeah. So Bailey and Jumba Jumba, you need to do the detail stuff again, no, for next month. And I am ordering you to, that if you're gonna do a detail one off rodeo, that you shoot stuff that is from the preparation. So not the actual rodeo itself, but the riders preparing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just do that. Like, I want to see that. Like, people are so they're so like zoned in on having to like shoot the actual performance that they forget that there's so many different things that you can shoot, especially in a sport like Matt said, like in rodeo, they have so much access, and go and use that access to your advantage and shoot something interesting, you know.
Here's the thing, the minimum time that I will get to any rodeo event is 2 hours before minimum. And that, that also happens to be the minimum time I'll get to anything else, but that's because of traffic and credentialing and all that kind of other stuff. I could show up to a rodeo 15 minutes before it started, no problem. But what do? I come away with some of my best pictures in those 2 hours before the performance starts, because people are, unpacking their gear, saddling their horses, or fixing their saddles, or, whatever it is they're doing, telling stories. You can get portraits, you can do so much. But if you just show up and everybody's already in the arena, you missed a good part of it.
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, this really, honestly, it's not just for Jumbo Jumbo and Bailey. Yeah, like I've seen for other sports as well, that it's always, 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 always about the competition. You don't do anything. Like I've not, you don't see that many shots from training or something that you can actually get. You tend to get better access for. People don't take advantage of that. God, I'm so angry today because I have beer. It's good. I'll do it again. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Mhm.
fine. This is not really what we're going for, as far as um something different. Like I don't know, people see me talking shit on Facebook all the time, and it's mostly at people who are professionals who do the same thing over and over again. But this isn't like, this isn't at a rodeo. Like, whatever this is either practice. I'm guessing it's practice,
Yes,
because even at
practice. Yeah.
like a jackpot or something like that, there would be a logo or something like that on the barrel. This is just somebody's backyard, right?
Mm.
Um,
You could do a lot
there's
more shit than this,
so
you
many
know?
things, like, you need to take advantage of. Like, I don't get to shoot things like this because, for me to just go somewhere, when I'm not getting paid, or and drive, really far away or something, it just doesn't make any sense. But if you're near things like this, or this is like your house or your friend's house or something like that, you should really be trying other things. And
I'd like to like put a pole like right through the barrel thing, like a long pole, like a very big one, so it goes above, and you can actually like put the camera on above, and you can actually shoot it remotely,
yeah, you can't do that.
or whatever, like
You can't.
something close to
You can't do that. Let's let's stay away from the
something
things that
close
we
to
already
that.
know that you can't do.
Fuck.
Um,
But seriously, like it's so
so
boring in these pictures.
this is the kind of picture that you take at a rodeo because you have to, or at a jackpot or something like that, because you're covering the event. But if somebody's practicing, the possibilities just go up from there, and so you need to take advantage of it. And like, you don't have a bunch of sponsor signs in the background. There's like some trees and some grass. Go back there and move those folding chairs out of the way. Try to find a better background. Um, figure out if you can, like, you can get, if you're just, again, just like the same with the other picture, it would be awesome to be like in the middle of the pattern, so you could just have your friend say, okay, just go around the barrel and then avoid me, or something like that, and then you can be like inside the pattern and shooting it from a completely different angle. Like, you need to take advantage of situations where the normal rules don't apply. Like, you're not going to be able to put something on top of the barrel because, again, it's going to fall off, or it's going to get knocked over, and the horse could get hurt, or the rider could fall off or something. But you can be in a different position than you would be if it was a competition, and that's what you should be trying to do. Otherwise, figure out how to use the background to this better. Like, maybe there's only grass. Like, if you shot more from the left to the right and there's just grass in the background or something like that, and you get rid of that part of the house and the tower for the power cables or something, like, figure out how to do that. But um other than that, like, take advantage. This is just one step down from the warm up kind of thing, because she's actually riding her horse, but it's also not anything serious. Like, it's just a practice. She's training the horse or just getting ready for an event or something. um Take advantage of that, and don't make rodeo pictures in a non-rodeo setting, because the normal rules don't apply, and you should take that as a gift, not as, I'm just going to do the same thing that I would do if it was at a rodeo.
Hmm. Mm. Mm.
there's not enough context to this. Like, you know, if there had been like cool clouds in the background, or you know, like the light obviously is really good, but it's really not helping in this situation because the sky is washed out so much. So the problem is, this picture really breaks the rule of thirds in a way that the rule of thirds was designed to keep you from breaking. Like, I don't really even think of it all that much, but having him be right in the middle and then having it not be like, it should be either tighter or wider. It definitely feels like it's in no man's land for this. So really the only thing you have is like a clean background, but it's not an interesting background. And then cool lighting that you really just used as if it was any other kind of lighting. So it just feels like you got middled here. Like it's not far away, not close enough, good light, but not used in any particular way. And then clean but boring background. So it's just average. You know, this is what Ryu was describing that baseball picture as fine. I would say this is fine.
It's like, what bothers me is that the eyes are not there, and I think he has his eyes closed, I think, or it's very barely open. Like, it's not very, very nice. It doesn't look very, very good. The left eye is blocked by the right arm, and he's not doing anything very spectacular. Like, it's just, just fucking the ball, and I'm sure, like, he caught the ball very well, but it's not very exciting, Man, Simon's fucking killing it, huh? He's killing it, Simon. The fuck is that?
Yeah, this is not a sports picture. You know, I know what he was going for, and it was probably like, oh, well, the magazine in the hand makes it, and it's like the red and the white, and the kids wearing red and white, but it's just, this is like a street portrait or something like that. It's just like, somebody was walking around and I took a picture of them. Like, there definitely needs to be context involved in this, and then whatever's going on in the lower right is just absolutely killing any shred that would be left of that. And you can't crop it out because then you lose the most of the magazine. So yeah, it's just, it didn't work. I don't want to discourage the impulse of it, but how would this be better? It would be better if you were higher and you were, it was just like the outline of the kid's face and then the magazine, and then maybe some more of the crowd or something like that. Like, he's trying to get an autograph, and in the background, maybe you could see somebody out of focus signing an autograph or something like that. But as it is, it's just too conventional of an angle, and there's not enough context in the rest of it to really even be a sports picture.
Yeah. I mean, like, it should be like, there has to be some excitement, like if he's yelling or if he's crying or something. It's just like a fucking kid with a fucking pamphlet, and that's it. And what are we supposed to take from that? Like, is it interesting to you? Do you find it interesting? I don't find it interesting. You could ask a lot of people and say, hey, what do you think about my picture? If people, they say, hey, well, no, it's nice that the kid is cute, and like, who the fuck cares? It has to be interesting. Like, what's interesting about this? Do we have to step in and try to kind of figure out like what you thought it was interesting to say, he must have thought that fucking kid holding a pamphlet is interesting. Like, it's fucking not interesting at all. And it has to be obvious. Photography is an obvious art. Like, it's right there in front of you, and you can basically say yes or no. It's either good or it's bad, or it's interesting or it's not interesting. And the fact that if you have to like think about it like a bit more and say, oh, maybe Simon thought about like the fact that like, nah, that then you've failed. Then you have to look at this picture yourself and ask yourself, okay, what do I think is interesting? Is it obvious what the idea or the message that I want to convey? And if it's not obvious, then you failed. It doesn't work. But you have to be much more tough on yourself. With the same picture with the horse thing you did with the guy's head, back of the head and whatnot, like the black and white crappy one you did. Same thing. What is it you wanted to tell us? Is it obvious in that picture? If it's not obvious, then you failed. That's a shit job. Go back to drawing board, think again, and shoot again. And it feels like a lot of you guys don't do that. Like, what is it you want to tell? What's the story there? What is that? Is something beautiful there? Is something like very special there? And is it obvious? I mean, you can like ask like other people like near you if you want to have your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your teacher, whatever, your friend, have a look at it and say like, what do you see? Do you like the picture? Yes or no? Okay, what do you see? Oh, I see a fucking kid. Okay, boom. I think you just fucking that's a no-no then. You just like say, oh, it's a cute kid. That's not what you're trying to convey, no? I'm sure. Like you want like have like that combination of the pamphlet and the kid. And it didn't work, it didn't work. Wow. Hi. My daughter is calling me. Okay. Next one. This is by Christopher Walker, not Christopher Walken. And this is a picture from the stands.
Yeah, just don't do this.
Watch
just
the
don't,
game.
just don't. Yeah, just do not do this. This is, man, this is. I don't know why these kind of pictures bother me so much, but it says it right in the caption. These were taken from the stands, not from the side of the pitch, but I'm pretty pleased. What are you pleased about? Like the whole reason that you shoot from the field is that you have better angles than this. And so we're looking at your pictures from the stands. There's either a player or a ball boy's head cut off. And then there was no way for you to do anything about the empty seats in the background, the ambulance, the other photographers on the other corner, and then like some, I don't even know, the guys shooting video. That's why you don't shoot like this. That's why you watch the game. Like you bought tickets. If you're buying tickets to go somewhere to shoot a sporting event, for anything other than, this would be fun or something, you're just doing it wrong. And this is not a result to be pleased with at all. At all. I'm looking at this. It doesn't even look like, it looks like 92 is in focus, but it doesn't look like the goalie is in focus, and the goalie is the one whose face you can see. And it's too late, because the play was when the guy was actually heading it in, if that's what happened here, not the ball, being in the net and the goalie still trying to go after it or whatever. Then you have players covering up other players, guy with his eyes closed. Like this is just a complete unmitigated disaster. If you're pleased with this, you need to reevaluate. You need to go back and look at a bunch of soccer pictures, go onto Getty Images, look at, just look at their stream, look at the stuff that they're featuring right now, and figure out why none of their photographers are shooting from this position. Like, yes, you can go into the stands, you can shoot from the press box, you can do all kinds of things, but this angle you will never see ever. Like it's just not done. And it's not because nobody ever thought of it, because you're just not going to get the kind of results that you want from here.
Oh, it's a shit picture. How beautiful is that, the background? Huh? Fucking hell. It looks like it's painted on, But the rest is not that good.
This is a huge wasted opportunity.
Oh my god.
And
look how beautiful that is. The back, it's beautiful.
Like I picture Reed getting up really early and driving along and then stopping and then driving along and then stopping, all of that. But I also, like, I'm looking at this and it's like, I'm guessing that he's just standing in the middle of the road. You need to be laying on the road, right? If you're standing in the road, you can be laying in the road. Like the expectation is there's no cars coming, right? One way or the other. The amount of time that it would take you to get up if you were laying versus just walking off the road can't really be that different. Figure out how to get that sun and the mountains in the picture, but have it be an interesting picture. Lower, wider, closer. Like this is just
background in, and like it's done. Like it's
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
you
half the
just
shot is
you arranged everything except for the people that were actually doing the
it's
sport.
fucking
Is
shit. Like, what the fuck are these people doing? It's just
the like they have helmets on, and some of them are like in gear or whatever, but some of them don't look like they are. I guess because I don't know, maybe they're in sweats and the other people are in like full racing gear or something, but it doesn't, like, none of them are doing anything that looks athletic. Like they might be moving fairly fast, but it doesn't look like they are. So you need to show them, they need to be closer to you because you need to be able to see their muscles. You need to be able to see the expressions on their faces. Like they need to be right on you. Otherwise, it's just a pack of dudes riding bikes, and it's just
ugh.
not. It does not look athletic. They might as well be, standing still at that point.
I mean, look at that. Like, I don't get it. Like, it blows my mind. It really, like, you could just like simulate it in your head if you can see that from your eyes, like without the lens on. And say, okay, it's beautiful. So how can I actually like best use this entire scenery to like take a picture of these cyclists? And you can simulate in your head the angle, the shutter speed, the composition, and everything. And you can do that. Like, it's not very difficult, you know. And you have to make the best out of it. And you have to really, like, in a place like this. I know it's a bit Photoshop because I don't think it's just a natural color, but I'm sure it's very close to it, you know? It's a fucking, nah, it's a waste. Waste, waste, waste. What the fuck is this?
This is
What, Roman?
this is not acceptable.
What is this? What's going on? It's just a fucking guy with a pen and a piece of paper. And a woman with a ponytail, that's it. And some
Yeah,
woman like wearing shorts in the background, that's it.
it's also overexposed and washed out looking. Um, man, you need, like, this kind of thing needs to have two parts of it. Like, he needs to be doing something interesting and she needs to be doing something interesting.
No, it has to be
You could
both.
like really, really read into this picture, and like maybe this guy is the most mild mannered guy ever, and this is the most excited that he ever gets. That doesn't mean that it's going to make for a good picture. His expression barely gives away anything, and the only thing that you really have going on is his hand, and that's definitely not enough.
No.
Yes, she's in the frame. Yes, she's out of focus to give it depth or whatever. That's fine, but she has no expression whatsoever. And you may know her, and this might be the equivalent of her bawling her eyes out because she never does or something like that. But you need to have it. It needs to all be there in the picture. You don't need to. You can't have to know the people to know what's going on. And yeah, we're not dumb. You can definitely tell that it's a coach who is disappointed in a player or something like that, but there needs to be, like, for it to be a picture, there needs to be more on both sides than there is here. Like, it's just, there's no way that it's enough. And beyond that, again, this is way overexposed. Is the thing that
I don't really care. Like,
that the dog is like walking on water? Is that?
yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
this is not really a sport, I don't think. So
I kind of like left it there because it was in the pool as well. Because I thought, okay,
yeah,
it's a bit athletic dog thing, you know, I can do that. But this will be probably the first and the last one. So we're
yeah.
gonna wrap
I
this
don't,
up.
it's this, it doesn't suck, but it's not. This is not what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Let's stick with like the biggest, like the animals we'll take will be horse, and maybe, yeah, no, it has to be horse, has to be in there. No? All right, the fuck? Are you fucking serious? What's up with like what? Like, seriously?
All right.
Okay, listen.
Slowly trying to learn the ropes. Let's.
Oh, Shaylee.
All right, we're
Right,
gonna take it. We're
Shaylee.
gonna take it easier.
Yeah, Shaylee.
Okay,
Look at
so
this. No, wait, hold on. I gotta go first. All right, Shaylee. Now I'm looking at this picture. You're looking at it as well because you posted this, and I'm talking to you right now. Who is this guy, and what is he doing? So I don't know anything about. It's like I know nothing about. Like, I know like a bit about rodeo now that, like, because Matt had a like a one like introductory course like what the fuck rodeo is. But let's say I don't know anything what's going on. So basically, you're shooting his ass and the back of his head, which is what shitty. It's a no-no. Why? Because you know unless you're like he's got this wonderful back, it exudes like this charisma and everything. It looks beautiful, and it just kind of like this environment is fantastic. That's fine. You know, especially when he's like maybe he's sweating, you can see his sweat on the back or something interesting. Then the back is fine, or his ass for that matter. But he's not doing anything remotely that interesting for me to like be amazed by his ass or his back or the back of his head. So there's nothing you could have done. Why? Because you're in a situation. This is a 360-degree sport, so it's not doesn't mean that if you are where you are, or if you actually had moved, you're guaranteed to see his face when he's doing his roping the calf thing. Right? This is roping calf, isn't it? Am I correct?
Yeah.
It's calf roping, whatever. It's roping calf. Yeah, calf roping. So there's nothing you could have done. Like literally, there's nothing you could have done here. And I think it's like football celebration. You don't know where they're going to celebrate, so it's a matter of luck. Am I doing this correct? Right? Because you don't know where which way they're gonna be facing, right? When they
No,
rope
no,
it.
you know. No.
You do know.
Oh yeah. You definitely know.
Like which way they're gonna be facing when they rope
Yeah,
the calf?
because they get off of the horse on the same side. They
What
run
the fuck is she
down.
doing here then?
All right. Learning the ropes. All right.
All right, Shaylee. So then you've actually really fucked it up in this time. So if you actually knew exactly which direction the guy's gonna be roping the calf, then you should be in that direction. And I will stop there because I could go off because this is a really bad picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's enough.
Because I'm being nice to people. Shaylee.
The
Janie.
beyond that, like yes, if you're going to shoot this picture, I don't really even shoot this because I don't know, the calf roping picture is either the guy chasing the calf and swinging his rope around, or then throwing it and jumping off his horse. Those are like the two pictures of calf roping that you're going to see the most. That's not to say that you stop shooting or whatever, but most people get kind of uncomfortable about the actual tying, when they're on the ground. I'm not saying don't shoot it. I'm just saying that this isn't, it's also not going to be the most aesthetically pleasing of it. It's like a guy hunched over a calf and tying him or whatever. Like you can do it, but you need to be pretty close to it, or you need to have a really long lens. Otherwise it's going to look bad. You're on the wrong side. Unless this guy's like a lefty or something like that and like runs down the other side of the rope, but generally you want to be facing the cowboy so that you can at least see him tying, and having his back to it like this is bad. The rest of it is the lens that you're using and how far you are away brings in way too much of the background. So you don't really want to see those people in the background, like that guy in the chair on the left, and also the what are we looking at here? 220 at f5. Yeah, you want to, maybe that's the best you could get out of that lens. Is like a variable aperture or whatever. This is okay. So this is going to be a problem if you're shooting with a lens that has, if you're at 220 and the best you can get is f5, you're not going to be able to blur out enough of the background, and you're too far away. So you need to shoot from places where you can get a better background. So if you were at the end of the arena, maybe shooting back, then the distance from the cowboy to the end of the arena would be longer, and you would have more of it blurred out. But as it is here, you're not able to blur out the background enough. Like if you can see people's faces and recognize them, you haven't blurred it out enough. And then another thing, and this is kind of like a photo 101 thing that we don't really get into, but you've completely blown out the red channel on this. And I don't know if it was, I guess it was the post-processing or whatever, bringing the saturation up, but that's super distracting. Like that's not how those colors looked in real life. Like the banner and that woman's shirt, like that is way, way blown out. So that's part of the reason why you have to shoot from a different angle, because even if you did blur all that stuff out, those colors would still be blown and it would still be super distracting. So I would shoot more, look around. Like, don't stand where they tell you to stand necessarily. Like, don't go where you're not supposed to go. But if they say, oh yeah, most people shoot from here, then you don't
Fuck
need
that.
to shoot from there. Like,
No.
walk around, look at the events, figure out where they're going to be most of the time, figure out what the background would be if you were shooting from any given position. Try to maximize the distance between what you're shooting in the background and try and minimize the distance between you and what you're shooting. These will make your pictures look better. And then as you're learning, even the more boring of your pictures will look better, and then you'll figure out ways to make those boring pictures more interesting. That's the best I can do on this.
But
But definitely keep shooting.
What? Did you just start shooting? This Shady?
It says slowly trying to learn the ropes.
I see. All right, but the thing is, like, you know, it is Shady. The thing is, like, we treat people basically like this all the time, and it's not like I don't like you or anything. I've never met you. Like,
It sounds like you don't like her.
No. I love Shaylee.
All right.
And Jumba Jumba, and what's the other one that was the
Bailey.
Shaylee, Bailey, Jumba Jumba. And I think I've got all three of you now that you're doing this rodeo thing. That I really want all three of you to do the detail thing, so up close. So is there like, I don't know, because like the two of you, the Jumba Jumba and Bailey, you know, right? You've seen them before, or you met them.
I don't know them personally. I know them from online.
All right, but I'm sure like there's gonna be like a rodeo event, right? In the near future. And even okay, let's say if there isn't one in the next couple of weeks, because like, we're gonna have to record the podcast in about 2-3 weeks. Even if there isn't one, please. So Shady, Bailey, Jumba Jumba, all three of you guys, I really want you to go and shoot the preparation of the riders, the rodeo people. Okay?
And it doesn't need to be before a rodeo. It can be like on their, on their ranch or at their house or something, wherever they keep their horses.
Absolutely.
Start with what you can do. If you're gear limited, right? If you don't want to have a $10,000 lens, shoot what you can. Like, maybe not even with this lens, because this is you're going to have trouble shooting with this lens. You're going to have trouble really shooting anything with this lens, and that's fine. You can still learn till you get to the point where you can make a decision as to whether you want, a 70-200 or a 300 or whatever.
Maybe like just like a really cheap 50mm lens.
Right.
That you can get.
Right. Everybody should have a 50 1.8 and, probably a 50 1.4, because you're not going to be shooting very much action, with those, but you can definitely get a lot out of it. Shooting the preparation stuff.
Yeah. So please, I'm begging. I'm not gonna beg. Why should I beg? No, you guys should do it.
Well, you already begged. You already said you begged.
Okay, please. No. Like, I couldn't really kind of figure out like what was going on when I first saw this, and now he's carrying the ball and that's it, right? Like, what the hell's like that thing on the upper right? Like,
yeah, this is okay. We'll start with the good. The texture of the ball and the scrapes on the gloves, that's exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about get close. This is something that if you were watching the game on TV, if you were watching the game in the stands or whatever, you're never going to see this level of detail, and that is a good use of photography. You're taking the access that you have, the gear that you have, and you're showing people something that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to see. At its fundamental level, that's what photography is all about. The problem is that this picture is a mess. This is an absolute mess. And again, we have a blown out red channel, and there's focus issues here because he was shooting, I'm guessing that it was at 2.8 and it was pretty close. So the depth of field in this is going to be a problem. It's going to be very narrow. So, and the problem is also that because the depth of field is so narrow, but these things are all very close together that they're going to be a little bit out of focus. They're not going to be blurred, right? So you have like different parts of the finger are in focus and different parts of it are out of focus. And it's hard to shoot like that. It's really hard. Like there are definitely times where I'm trying to do this and it doesn't work because of that, because the dynamics of the situation, the area that's going to be in focus versus the area that's out of focus, plus how close everything is together, that's a real challenge that you have to kind of work around. So the two problems of this are the red in the top right and the top left, and then this probably shouldn't have been shot at 2.8. That's really what it comes down to. Like, because you were so close and because there's really nothing that could have possibly been in this picture. Yeah, 2.8. So you were at 8,000. You absolutely could have. You had plenty of room to stop it down and still, had a fast shutter speed if that's what you needed. If you had gone down to 4.5 or something like that, the fingers and the ball would have been completely in focus. And if you had got this at just a little bit of a different time, where I don't even know what is that red on the. Is that the other glove?
I don't know. That's the thing. I
The
have
top
no idea
right.
what it
Yeah, I
is
have
on
no
top
idea. It
right.
looks
I
like
don't
the
know what it
jersey is on the top left.
Yeah.
The
That's
shorts
his leg,
are on the bottom left, and
Yeah.
then the other glove. I'm guessing that's what it is. But either way, what you wanted to do was, compose around this. And then, the other thing, and this is like the highest level complaint, is that the way the light is, so the light is sneaking through and it's coming, kind of straight down like that, and it's really harsh, and the rest of it is in shadows. Like, that's like, this was a good attempt at this, but we just told you all the ways that it failed. That doesn't mean don't go out there and try it again, because you can get this picture. Like, this is a gettable picture. Like, the goalie picks up the ball a lot. If you can get this close to it, then you can get this close to it again, and you can get it in a situation where everything is working for you, where there's not stuff that's intruding on the frame, or it's in a way that you can crop it out. If the focus is right, then you have a lot more leeway to do all that stuff. But as it is, it doesn't work because of all those things.
But you're on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is you're just too far away. Like, this is the kind of thing where if the rules of soccer were, completely different, and there was an observation, like in bull riding, there's like a camera pit that's in the arena and it's sunk in, and it has, like bars around it and a roof on it, and the clown gets up on the roof and can entertain the audience or whatever, and you're in it. You're like, literally inside the arena, but you're safe because the bulls can't get down into the pit. Like, you could do a picture like this. And if it was the same thing in soccer, where they had to dribble around this, this cage in the middle of the field or something like that, and you were 50 meters away instead of 100 meters away, then yeah, this picture all of a sudden becomes in play where it wasn't before. But the problem is you're just too far away, just too far. Like, it's fine that you have all the faces and everything, but it's like there needs to be some kind of separation between those two things, and because you're 100 yards away, you can't do it. You just can't do it. And beyond that, it's not like, even if everything had gone right, and even if you had been closer, this play still isn't interesting. Like, the goalie already has the ball and he's covering it, so this play is done. Like, it's been over for like a second or something like that. And the way that the players are is not, it's not interesting. Like, nobody's laid out like they're diving or something like that. It's just like one guy who's like falling over and the other guy who's like trying not to step on the goalie. And that's really it. So the good part of the picture is the background. The bad part of it is there's no separation, and the players who are, supposed to be doing something athletic don't look athletic in what they're doing.
It's too far. It's just too far. And unless there's something just incredible happening in front of the goal or in the back, there's no even need to actually even shoot that.
No, yeah, you never know when there's something crazy going to happen, though. That's the thing. Like, if somebody had been laid out, like if the guy in yellow had been like completely laid out and was diving, he's perpendicular or parallel to the ground, and he's heading the ball in or something like that, and the goalie is, also laid out, or like, you want to have that picture. Like, even if it's not going to ever be a great picture, it could end up being used in a newspaper because, oh wow, look at this or whatever. Like, it wouldn't go in your portfolio, but it would be better than the average picture that would be in the newspaper. Keep shooting, but
I don't want to think
everything has to be going right. You can't. It can't be like the way these players are at the end of everything. Like, forget about the separation, forget about the crowd, forget about everything other than the players. The players still have to be doing something interesting in a way that's aesthetically pleasing, and they're not. So you can or don't have to continue shooting through it, but you have to be, when you look at these pictures, it's not, the faces don't make the picture. Like, the players still have to be doing something for there to be a picture.
And that is the end of Training Ground. We'll do another one next month. And if you want more information, please go to biglensfastshutter.com. That is biglensfastshutter.com. If you, after this, come and thinking like, okay, I want Matt and you to have a look at my portfolio in more details, like we do in Training Ground, but even more so, there is a service called why do I say cross comment?
Critical Beatdown.
And we will, up to 15 pictures, we will basically critique it on video for $100.
For $100, not $400. $100
if you want to, but I mean, we're not that crazy. So 15 images, $100, and it will be public from now on. So, even if you're not feeling 100% comfortable, at the end of the day, this is a profession. This is an art form. This is a hobby that is meant to be shown and shared by a lot of people.
And the reason that we do this is to help as many people as we can. I think that's something that gets lost in all of this. Neither of us have time to help people one-on-one. We can't answer detailed questions to everybody who writes in, but we can, through this, help everybody. We can take questions. We can help way more than one person at a time. So yeah, help us out and participate and understand that all this stuff has to be public, because it doesn't do us any good to critique your picture for you. It only does us good to critique your picture for everybody, so that everybody can learn, and we'll keep the momentum up that we have over the last few years.
That's it. Thanks for listening, and see you guys in a couple of weeks on the podcast. Goodbye.